Like, I can understand passiveness, just, oh, things just went this way. Oh, Jesus, we left him the way that it was originally painted. And, it just doesn't matter that he's black. Like, I could go with that. But when something is intentionally done, and then there are letters written about it in ways that there's a slave Bible. There's literally a Bible for slaves. Like, there's a slave. Look up the slave Bible. It's literally used. It was literally used as a tool to oppress people. This image was literally used as a way to demonize non-white people. So then, if you know that, how do you say, oh, it just doesn't matter? Whatever. It don't matter to you because you're not affected by that. And this is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, if you know something was deliberately done, it is up to you to take action on that. Talk to your people. You know what I'm saying? If you really feel that way, I should see you at the front of a lot of churches because this who they worshiping. Peace and power to all the descendants of my ancient mother. My name is Brother Legend, and I'm here to raise your consciousness. What up, y'all? What's going on? If you're joining us on YouTube, my TikTok is BIGBROLGND. You can join me there by tapping the top right corner notification bell on my profile, where you'll be notified when I go live. If you want to catch us live, I post all my replays on YouTube, so you can subscribe there in order to be up to date. Also, you can donate to $ Bring Down Babylon. That is our nonprofit, b1initiative.org, if you want to learn more about what we're doing in our community. Shout out to all the B1 Initiative brothers and sisters that's building with us. We're building resources in our community. We host these lives as a way to not only just speak with our brothers and sisters, but to get y'all to think critically and to raise your consciousness. What's going on, y'all? What up, what up? How's everybody doing? Gibbs Hug, what's going on? Welcome to the live. I'm going to let people up when we get to 2K likes. So do tap like as you come in. Today we're talking about a few different things. Christianity, religion, you know what I'm saying? Just some things. How do y'all feel about the questions up above? Give me a yes, no, yes, no. I will be grading people. I will be grading y'all. This second one's kind of hard to grade on, to be honest. We'll see. Depends on your reason. But let's talk about it. Okay, possibly. I'll give you a C. You get a C for that. For that answer, you get a C. We got some people waiting to come up here, y'all. Tap like. Let's get to 2K. Yesterday was my birthday. I don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I don't celebrate that. I don't celebrate my birthday either. But, some of y'all need to look up Mamie Eisenhower. She's the reason why adults celebrate their birthday. Mamie Eisenhower, the first lady. Mamie Eisenhower is the reason birthdays are celebrated. And, that's the thing. I also know that the calendar is not accurate. There's two Chalkesians names in our calendar. That should tell you it's inaccurate. July and August. You know what I'm saying? Two Envelopians. What is YT? I didn't put YT anywhere up there, so I know you're being disingenuous. Satan. What up, Miss K? What up, Hoodoo? Leisha? Jay, what's going on? All the no yeses in here, man. Y'all getting A's. A pluses. All right, we at 2K. I'm going to let some people up. I'm going to let some new folks up. Peace. What's going on? Iconic, could you give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please?
I'm 21. I'm she, her, and I'm black.
All right, talk to us.
Do I don't think black and white Christians worship the same God, because of the way Christianity was brought to Africa, in quite a violent way. So, like, I don't know, the God that they brought to Africa, it doesn't really represent. I don't know. It doesn't really represent what Jesus Christ, like who he was. I don't think people are born sinners, though. I think as human beings, we do good things and we do bad things, but we're not born like sinners. Are white people inherently racist? I said possibly, um, because of how like society has been built, and it's not just like a short period of time. This is like hundreds of years. So that's why I'm saying possibly they could be inherently racist.
Hmm. So that sounds like yes. I'm wondering what made it possibly.
I don't know. I don't want to say yeah and get. I don't want to say. I don't know. You know what? I would say yes because of how like society has been built. Like it's kind of all. I don't know. It's kind of all revolved around like white people, especially like in Western societies. Um, and like even the ladder to like climb on as well, like as a black
Mm.
person, is 10 times harder, if that makes sense. Like in every country, like I'm in the UK, and like um we like as black people we face racism here as well. It's a system, and it's hard to break. It's hard to break that without the people that have created the system, like, actively destroying it. So that's why I would say yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a part where people get hung up on the word inherently is they think it means innately.
Hmm.
And what it just means is an essential or natural part of something. So racism is inherently tied to whiteness the same way wetness is inherently tied to swimming. If I'm
Hmm.
swimming, I'm going to be inherently wet. Now, I'm not innately born in the water, but if you're in the water, you wet. So if you're in society and you are part of the upper status quo, the privileged class, then you're going to be racist. That's just how that works.
I do agree.
Hmm. Well, thank you, Iconic. Definitely
No
think
problem.
you gave us the needed nuance in those answers. Appreciate you. A plus for Sister Iconic. Let's go to the next guest. Zay, could you give us your age, your race, and your pronouns, please?
22, black guy. You said my what? My age and my race.
Yeah.
I'm a guy. He,
All right.
him.
Talk to us.
Yeah, just interested about the first claim that, well, not really a claim, a question that black people and white people worship the same God. Well, I'm Orthodox, so I remain under the premise that there's only one God, and the one God is necessarily triune. That's the Christian God. So if you're saying in the sense that do all Christians, regardless of color, worship the same God, I'd say yeah. But
Okay.
like, if you're saying universally, well, no, people don't all hold the same religion.
Okay. So let's say just in America, would you say that black Christians worship the same God as white Christians?
If they hold to the tenet of orthodoxy in Christianity, then yeah, regardless of color.
So let's say they're both Orthodox, they go to the same church. One of them is building a new development to gentrify the neighborhood of the other person. And you're saying God blesses them both.
I never made that claim, but I'm saying if I go to my parish and I see the Greek lady and we're in the same, same parish, we're attending the same liturgy, yeah, we worship the same God. Now, if you're saying something, she's doing something that's unbecoming or less virtuous or something like that, therefore, do we worship the same God? I mean, yeah, just because she, let's say, does things that aren't necessarily in line with your views, or that doesn't negate the fact that she worships the same God.
Does God punish evil, or does he reward faith and good works, or does God just watch from a distance in your religion, in your
Yes,
heart?
God opposes evil.
Hmm. Hmm.
But what are you
So how
categorizing
can
as
God
evil?
oppose evil if someone is doing evil to another and someone is working to oppose evil, which is what God would want, and you're saying that they both worship the same God? How can
What are you
God how can God not punish one?
what are you categorizing as evil? Like, what's your
Let's say mass
moral foundation,
incarceration. Say mass incarceration, for example.
or saying mass incarceration is necessarily evil?
Yeah, pretty sure, yeah. I
We
mean,
don't
So
need to get
you don't
lost
see
in
it
the
as
fine,
evil?
details. I mean, it's pretty obvious what he's asking. You're getting lost in the details, Zay.
I'm not really getting lost. I mean, the details matter, words matter. So
Yeah, you're a
we
little
don't have the same
lost.
view.
I mean,
I'm just getting your view. So I'm saying if you're saying mass
police
incarceration, I'm
brutality,
sorry.
police
Yeah,
brutality.
police brutality is incorrect, but orthodoxy doesn't affirm
So
the
if
brutality of anybody.
Derek Chauvin prayed to the same God that George Floyd was crying out to, you're telling me that that God doesn't punish one person and favor the other. He just kind of just sits back and watches the whole thing. Like which I just want to
I
know
don't know
which
what Derek
side,
Chauvin.
which
I don't know
one
what
does
Derek.
God work
Oh,
for?
yeah.
Like which one does God like bless? Like how does he
Yeah, so
bless both of them?
I don't know who Derek Chauvin or George Floyd. I don't
That's
know
not a
what
good
their
sign.
belief. I don't know what they believed, so I can't speak on their faith. But I'm speaking for orthodoxy. That's all I can speak for, the Orthodox faith, which is Christianity.
You know what
Uh,
willful ignorance is?
It's not willful ignorance. It's just steel manning my position.
So you do know
No.
what it is.
Yeah, but
See,
I'm not willfully ignorant. You just have to steel man my
We
position, and
never
that's the way.
said you were, but you do know what it is, and you wanted to avoid the question
It's not really avoiding the question. I'm just
because
telling
you
you
know you
I'm
are.
just telling you. I'm telling you to steel man my
You
position.
avoided the question because you know you are.
It's not avoiding a question.
You
It's
know
just a
what it
straw man.
is. You didn't want to answer the question because you're guilty and you felt it.
Because you're committing a fallacy. A
Why did
straw
you
man is a
avoid the
fallacy. If
question?
you're not addressing
Why
what
did
I'm
you avoid
postulating,
the question? He
because
didn't
you're not
accuse you. He asked
addressing
you a
what
question. Do you know what
you're
it is?
you're getting a little aggravated. If you're not addressing what I'm postulating, that's called a straw man. That's a logical fallacy.
It's not a
no,
straw
that's
man.
not
He
a
asked you
straw
a
man.
direct
Straw
question
mans
that
aren't
you
logical
avoided.
fallacies now.
We didn't do one straw man
You're
this
getting
whole
lost in the
time. I've
details.
been
Because you're
asking
not
the direct
addressing
question.
what I'm postulating. If I'm saying
No,
that I
no,
don't.
I don't have to address what you're postulating. You have to address what I'm postulating. I'm the
Okay,
one
so you'd have
saying,
to in response, you'd have to steel man what I'm trying to put out.
no, I'm asking you,
Okay.
how does God bless an oppressed people and an oppressor's people at the same time?
What do you
And
mean an
then
oppressor's
you're
people?
trying to get into details and say, well,
Because
do you
details
not believe
matter.
in black oppression? Do you believe that racism is gone? Like, I'm curious because last time I checked, the Klansmen burn crosses because they're Christian. And then at the same time, there's black people who pray to God to get free from oppression. You're telling me that they both worship the same God. And
I
I'm
never
just trying
said
to ask you how.
I never said the KKK and the rest of everybody else
There
worships the
are
same God. So
Klansmen
no,
in your Orthodox church. So
I'm affirming the position of orthodoxy. The KKK is obviously not orthodox nor Christian if they don't
yes, they
exhibit the
are. That's
virtues of
not what they
orthodoxy.
say.
Can you show me?
Even in your Orthodox,
Can you
even
cite
your
me
Orthodox
a KKK
Christian,
member that's orthodox? Do you know what orthodoxy is?
please stop saying the name of that organization. Say Triple
It's-
K. I said the
Okay, I'm
Klan.
sorry. I apologize. I apologize.
Okay.
The triple Ks. Do you affirm
What?
like can you cite any sources or anything that they affirm orthodoxy?
See how he gets lost in the details whenever we talk
The
about black
citing
Details
oppression?
sources
matter when
is
you're
sea-lining.
when you're
So you're
engaging in a
asking for
riveting
details. You're
conversation.
never going to
I'd
be
advise
convinced,
you
no
that
matter what the
details do
details
matter.
are. You're just trying to distract the
That's not.
conversation.
I'm asking him
You don't
specifically
want the
about a
details. You
claim
don't
that
care
he
about the
made.
details.
Listen, I do. You'd agree with me that details do matter in a riveting conversation, a
You're
polarizing
still trying to
conversation like
divert the
this.
conversation.
That's not diverting. He just made a claim.
No, you're getting off topic. I
That's
understand.
not
Yes,
getting off topic. He made a claim
there's
about the
nuance.
triple
There is a
Ks, and I'm
difference.
asking him, can you cite a
We're
source
getting
for
lost
saying that
because we're
triple
taking
Ks
us off track.
adhere to the
We're
tenets of
taking us off
orthodoxy?
track. You couldn't
But see,
understand what evil is. You said,
see
"What's
how
evil? Give me an example of evil. What's evil?"
Because evil matters. I'm asking for
No,
an
it
ethical
doesn't. You understand
foundation
what the
by
blood
which you
people is.
determine what is
Jay,
Being
can
evil.
I ask
willfully
you a
ignorant
I'm asking
question?
for like
10 minutes
logical and
ago.
epistemic foundation. That's
Jay,
all.
can I ask you a question? Because I'm
Please.
older, so I know.
Okay,
So
please.
this is what they used to do on Sunday. Christian people, Orthodox, it didn't matter. They would literally go to church, and after church, they would look for a black man unalive. That's Christianity, and they used that picture right there and called him Jesus. They did everything under his name that was unethical, harmful to the whole entire world. And I'm just because you changed your voice and you sound like what's that woman name that everybody can't stand to do the podcast? Um, what's her name? I can't think
Oh,
of her name,
what's
but she get on my nerve. But so, sir, let me explain this to you. Just because you
please?
rub mustard in your eyes and you don't understand who you are, you don't have the right to speak on anybody's religion and say that this is what they stand for. Because you don't have no idea who you even dealing with. If you that
Oh,
closed minded and don't understand that you dealing with the devil, look at that picture. Of course we don't. Who is that guy? Because Christ didn't even look like that.
it's an icon. Well, Christ was a
Black
Jewish
man, go ahead and say
Palestinian.
it. You about to choke. Go ahead and say it. He's black.
He was a Jewish Palestinian. Oh, current
No,
day
he was
Palestine.
not Palestinian. He
So
was black. What is wrong with you,
he would have looked
sir?
ethnically
He looked
speaking.
just
Okay,
like me. He looked just like me.
if you would allow me to speak, please. If
No,
we're speaking
you can't say nothing to me because
so
I don't deal
okay,
with ignorance.
if we're speaking about his
And then you
nationality,
don't have
he
the
ethnically
audacity
would
to
have looked like
come
those
on this
around him,
man show. This
which
show
would
is
have
for
been a
people.
current day
Sir, God,
Palestinian Jew.
sir, can I just say what I got to say and then I can go?
Please,
Because this
You,
please,
man
you can
right
go ahead,
here,
Miss K. I'll let
let
you
me
go.
tell you something.
please.
This
Okay,
man
please.
right here that's in this picture, this YT man, following this man came with slavery, unaliving, essay, police brutality, the government turning against us, whatever. So we don't say that we don't have the same God. We don't serve the same God. The God I serve looked like me. He came to save his people. He ain't come to save you. So I don't know who you is, but you keep it up. Keep on tap dancing, sir. Just keep on tap dancing. All right, that's all I had to say. But thank you for letting me on, sweetie. Okay.
All right,
May the
Miss K,
triune God
appreciate it.
bless you now. Okay, now, if
I'm with you, Zay. It's my
allow
turn.
me to.
Miss K
Oh,
was
okay,
after. Yeah.
It
okay.
it
Please,
is
please go
Populous'
ahead.
turn. We gotta let Populous get some in. Go ahead, brother Populous.
Please.
Hey. Uh, no, that's Caesar Borgia. It's Leonardo da Vinci's lover or something like that, and he painted his portrait. But white Jesus is the crux of white supremacy because they can't worship a brown-skinned savior and hate on brown-skinned people. But no, since the imaginary best friend Sky Daddy is a war god that's about conquest and providing for you materially and answering your prayers and allowing you to have wealth and prosperity and riches and land and materials. It was the same excuse that Europe told the peasants in order to uh, attack Africa at all different points in the first real world war. They used Christianity and said we need to spread Christianity to the savages and stuff like that. But no, you can't possibly worship the same war god when you're on the opposing side of the war. You can't pray to the same God that wants to, to eliminate you, and the other team is voting to save you. That's stupid. So no, you can't worship the same God. It's an imaginary figure, but you definitely aren't worshiping the same imaginary character. And are people
I mean,
born
and
sinners?
then
There's no such thing as sin. It's a made up concept that you can put anything in. I could say having long hair is a sin. I can say cutting your hair is a sin. Both are irrelevant to your life, but if you believe in authoritarianism, you'll fall for it.
facts.
Are white people inherently racist? If you subscribe to the club or the group or membership and identify as white, then yes, you're inherently racist. Because by definition, just by falling into this social construct, instead of going by your heritage or what you actually are, erasing all of that, whitewashing all of that, and just saying, yep, I'm white, erase the history. I just want to side with the whiteness, and whiteness exists in opposition to black and brownness. It is a hierarchy of saying that we're better than the rest and we're going to collectively join together and keep everybody else oppressed and extract wealth and labor and all that stuff from them. We're going to treat them differently than the rest of the in group. So if you have somebody like Tarzan born on an island, he doesn't know anything about man versus women. He doesn't know he's a part of Team Man and that he's against Team Women. He doesn't know that he's part of Team White and against Team Brown. So he's going to be neutral and be innocent and not be exposed to any of this. And guess what? He's not going to identify as white. As soon as he identifies as white, he understands blackness.
All right, I like what he said. I was gonna piggyback right on that and go with the same theme. First of all, every time I get on,
Before you start radio, give us your
what's
age,
up,
race,
man?
and pronouns, please.
What's up, y'all? I'm radio. I'm 37, man. Just in here, I saw the post and I wanted
Your
to give you
race?
a little bit. I'm black skinned. I was born in South America, so yeah. I don't really subscribe to that whole black white tea thing either, man. I'm so sick of that because it opens up so many cans of worms, bro. And the division is real. You get to saying I'm black, and then a black American will be like, black from where? You know what I mean? And a black African, black from where? And a Caribbean, black from where? Black from which black? You know what I mean? All of the one, all on.
What do you mean, which black? I
Yeah,
never saw, on a application, or I never thought that somebody outside the community really seen a difference between any of us. I can
yeah.
stand
Well,
next to a
it's
Haitian, and I can stand next to an African, and everybody else sees three black people. So I don't know.
okay. I don't dispute that fact or claim at all. Your experience, that's cool. My experience 5 minutes ago is there's 13 lives where there's disputes between black
If I
African
call you a
Americans and
waffle, does
black
that mean you're
Africans.
going to go to the next live and say I might be a waffle?
I don't subscribe to none of that. I feel like the present construct is so screwed up that the moment that you buy into it a little bit, they've got you. I feel that
Who?
way with the religious rhetoric too. I do not doubt, as far as Christianity goes, that there was a way of life consistent with the Old Testament teachings and preachings that worked and were consistent with a way of life on earth for that time. I am a believer in the fact that humanity struggles in their overall growth, and so in periodically, a savior or manifestation of somebody to enlighten the people does appear to take them from one level to the next, the same way we have genius mathematicians, genius architects that are born. We have geniuses in philosophy and geniuses in spirituality that are naturally born. Okay, and if Jesus is a real person, then it's absolutely possible that he followed this whole lifestyle, and it's absolutely likely that his lifestyle was beneficial and that people should mimic his lifestyle. But after that, I feel like the message, if Jesus had a message, was politicized and monetized. And with that being done, and in order for it to be worked as a political weapon and as a monetized asset, they had to also change the imagery to make it work. So I feel the same way with him and the Islamic nation as well. You know what I'm saying? To piggyback on what a dude was saying a few minutes ago, both of these political, racist, dividist religions, they feel like they have the right to infiltrate the rest of the world, evangelize the rest of the world, and they can't stand each other. I heard a story the other day where let's say an atheist, just for kicks and giggles, he could have his own faith, whatever it is, was sitting in the room enjoying his cereal, not bothering nobody. The Muslim comes in and he's like, "Hey, bro, you have to be a Muslim." And dude is like, "Why?" You know what I mean? I'm just enjoying my cereal. So the Muslim dude, when he was telling the story, he was explaining that Islam, it is required of them to go, and anybody who doesn't have Islam, it's required of them to let them know that they have Islam. And knowing Islam comes with heaven and hell. Same with Jesus. Knowing him comes with heaven and hell. Now, if there's a tribe of people living in the Amazon somewhere, just chilling, living their life, they have no worry about heaven, no worry about hell. They're just hunter-gatherers doing their thing. Now I come over there telling you that I'm gonna what's the word? I'm gonna improve your quality of life by giving you the option of going to heaven or hell. Now I'm putting a whole stress on your existence that wasn't there prior. And it comes with imagery that's contradictory to who I am. And it comes with supplication to a whole bunch of laws, customs, and traditions that I've never heard of and never known. So if this guy's sitting in his house, like in the story, and he's just minding his business, the Muslim comes in and is like, "Hey, bro, this is the truth. Allah is God. He made me. He made you. And if you don't believe in Allah, you're going to hell." Jesus comes in, the Christian comes in and says the same thing. He made you. He made God. I mean, God made me. He made you. If you don't believe it, you're going to hell. My point is that this imagery right here is nonsense. It's a political tool. Okay, the whole story might have had a positive meaning. It might have had a positive meaning. Okay, but it is absolutely a weaponized tool right now. It definitely promotes racism, division, classism, and a whole bunch of other isms that don't make any sense and have no benefits in society.
You said racism has no benefits in society?
Racism has no benefits in a constructive society.
When you were saying absolutely, you said like absolutely true and absolutely possible about Jesus being real. If he was a real person, then it's absolutely possible X, Y, and Z and stuff. But that word absolutely was doing a lot of the heavy lifting. But were you saying that if you don't identify as black, or if you say la la la, I'm not black, that's going to protect you from the effects of being black in society?
Of stigmatisms, yes, and stereotypes, yes. I've definitely spoken on the phone. See, my first name is Randy. So
No, I'm
I've
talking about in real
definitely
life,
had
not over the phone.
conversations and
I'm not talking
email
about. Oh, wait a
transactions
second. Wait a
that
second.
were very
Yeah,
polite.
We're not talking
yeah.
about deceiving people, Randy.
Oh,
We're talking about in person, in real
Because they can
life.
see you across the street,
Does
which
you
you know
walking
you're black.
around saying, "I don't believe I'm black. I don't believe I'm black"? Does that
Or if
help
you do
oh,
the sorry to bother you voice.
yeah, that's like a color thing. I guess, yeah, I would on a surface level accept black because generally in society, it's accepted, but that's a go
It's
along
the
to get
second
along
time you've reduced
situation.
blackness to color. What is your idea? What do you think the
Right. There we
definition
go.
of blackness is?
Of blackness,
Yeah, what is a black person? What makes a person black?
melanin.
Do you have
So
melanin?
Yeah, and as far as society's construct goes, as soon as you have a little bit brown in you, you're pretty much could be called black. You know, they like to break it down further, mulatto, white, and whatnot, but
So
black.
if you don't identify as black, does that protect you from the effects of being black in society?
No, because
There we
it's
go.
it's
Thank you.
it's in the eye of the beholders.
So you still will be harmed by the idea of blackness, even if you
The
personally
stigma,
abstain
yes,
and don't subscribe to the idea of blackness.
yes. Even if I don't identify as black,
If
bye
they
bye.
detect your black ass over the phone, will you still get
Hey, shout out to Gene Day. Appreciate the Panther Paws. Yeah, definitely doing too much. We're gonna keep it rolling like Kelly Rowland. Mojo Ryder, give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
So 59 feet, he, she, her. Sorry, she, her. And what else did you want?
Your race.
Race is white.
All right, talk to us.
I didn't grow up with that Jesus that's behind you. I don't think that's what Jesus looks like. Never did think that was what Jesus looked like. And those
What did you think
claims,
Jesus looked like?
I think he looked Middle Eastern. That's the picture I grew up on. If I
What does
was
a Middle
wrong,
Eastern person look like?
well, like my husband's Lebanese, darker than that picture for sure. Different nose than that picture, different features than that picture.
So,
Middle
you
Eastern?
do know, and this is a fallacy that Zay said earlier, was that Jesus was Palestinian. There was no such thing as Palestine back then, and even though there's
Current day
people that
Palestine.
it, there was no such thing. There's no such thing as Palestine back then. You said
I'm saying current day
but
Palestine.
you
That's what I
said
was.
it's Palestinian. So we're
I'm
gonna
saying I made the specification of current day because Palestine
all right,
wasn't
but
Was a
here's the
Palestinian.
fallacy with
existing.
that as well is that those people that we now call Palestinians only migrated to that area after Jesus was born. So yet again,
I'm only
um,
using it as a referent. I'm not necessarily saying
well,
that
I'm just
Jesus is a
saying either
Palestinian.
way,
Was a
those are not the people that
Palestinian.
were there when Jesus was there.
But some of
Um,
the people in Lebanon are very early Christians, like they stayed there.
Yeah, very, very early Christians don't mean
Yes,
if
he would look
anyone that calls
Lebanese.
himself early Christians, Jesus Christ himself didn't call himself a Christian. So
Right.
Well,
He
that
that
he
called
means
himself
can't be a
after
Christian.
Jesus was, I mean, hundreds of years after Jesus was already gone.
He never
He
So
became a
couldn't be.
Christian.
He
He
couldn't
died a
be a
Jew.
Christian if Christian means follower of Christ. You can't follow yourself.
He was a radical Jew.
he was a
that,
radical.
He's a
yeah, and I
radical
mean,
Jew
not
that
even that.
opposed
There was
Sadducees.
no,
That
there was no
I'm not sure
word
how that makes
Jew back
sense.
then. So
And I
that
think the
also,
reason they are that color is because Moses' wife was, we know she was black, right? And
why are you
we,
bringing that up? I feel like you just tokenized Moses' wife.
no, 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 no,
Moses
no,
himself
no,
was black.
no. And he was ruddy. So we don't know what ruddy looks like, but they would have produced people that look like people.
You know what looks like? Moses was black. Moses was an African.
What's ready? What do you mean
Unlike
by ready,
unlike
Mojo?
unlike what the last person that just got kicked down said, blackness is not just the color of your skin. If that were the case, all of India would be black people. They are called Asian for a reason. So having and if that were the case, I guess uh, what's Steph Curry wouldn't be black, right? Because then we're going by colors of skin only, right? So that's not how that works. It is a land, history, and culture that unites us as a people. Land, history, and culture. The proper name of a people should relate to land, history, and culture. Those are the words of the great historian Dr. John Henrik Clark. And so when you talk about black people, you're not only talking about our political status in this society, not only talking about us coming together despite an oppression, but you're also talking about a land that ties us all back thousands of years to our ancestors, a history that our American black history is a subculture of, and that's what unites us as black people. So we exist in all shades from chalk to charcoal. That is not something we're unlike white people. We don't just look at each other's skin and say, "You're in." Like it takes more than that.
What did you mean, Mojo, when you said they look ready?
The Bible says he was tall, or he was tall and ruddy. Ruddy. I don't know what that means. I think it means red. And
Moses was an African. You understand this? Listen to me clearly. Moses was born in Africa. You understand? So that means if he's of any color from chalk to charcoal, he was an African. You understand? That makes him a black man. And then on top of that, he was black enough to get for people to perceive him as the son of black people. We can trace back the pharaoh at the time, Ramses. We can trace back his lineage to Africans, to dark-skinned Africans. So we know this. And then how are you going to say Moses didn't look African if he was getting confused as the son of Pharaoh? So we also know geopolitically, some of y'all only read the Bible, but there are other books that are written in that time period that also talk about the migration of people we now call Jewish in that day, coming from the Sahara Desert in Africa, or what we now call the Sahara Desert, and how they migrated to Egypt. They were Africans. There are no people this shade or a little bit darker than this shade surviving in the Sahara Desert without melanin. Skin cancer was real back then too. It existed.
So here's my question. What does it matter if I'm just wrong? Like, what does it matter? Does that mean I'm
It means
kind
you're
of,
wrong, dude. I mean, you could like, what do you?
okay, so
That's
I'm
the
wrong.
weirdest
I still love
response to being
Jesus.
wrong I've ever heard in my life. What in the world was that? Like, if you're wrong about something, why do you answer back? What does it matter? If I'm like, 2 + 2 is 5. No, it's not. Why does it matter? Like, I'm just telling you, Moses was a black man. We know that for certain. We don't know y'all want to argue about Jesus? You can. Me, I'm not a Christian, So I don't really give a crap about any of this. I do know that the first depictions of Jesus, the earliest depictions that we can find, the statues and paintings all have him as a black man. And the funny thing about that is even the church that the Roman church during Constantine said that the Romans, when they were integrating Christianity with Roman mythology, they said that it would be offensive for the Romans to worship a god that didn't look like them. So they decided to have Michelangelo, all these other people later down the line, the greatest marketing scheme of all time, to paint and make these paintings of a white Jesus. However, they still keep the original statues in the back closets in many churches in the Ukraine, in Russia, in Rome itself. The Pope prays to a black statue of Madonna and Child. Why? Because they believe this Christianity deep down in their heart, and they're afraid that if they throw out the original ones, something might happen to their soul. And so that's what's funny about the whole thing, is that they
Can
really
you
believe in
I'm sorry.
Christianity, and they're scared to give them the original black depictions of Jesus.
So they don't care about everybody else
Out
being
of
damned to hell,
out
but they
of
want to protect their soul and make sure they pray into the black Jesus.
Yeah.
out
You
of
think
out
if
of
the Pope
sheer
took out
I'm sorry,
those
go ahead.
statues, like white people would just stop worshiping Jesus? Are you crazy?
That's what
They
the
don't
Roman.
care.
Out of
They
That's a
love
letter
what
that
he
was
did
written
and
to
who
the
he
Roman
was.
emperor. Yes,
out
that
of
was a
out of
letter
sh-
written to the Roman emperor. That's not. You can look this up. That was a letter that was written. I'm not saying that you feel that way, but that's how they felt that way at the time. Yes.
out of sheer curiosity, could you cite the source that makes the
No,
claims that you're
no.
corroborating? So you
Google,
just
Yeah,
that's
you
not a
can easily
source.
look this up. I'm not up
You
here
have
to
like a
educate.
scholastic or patristic
Google,
source that I can use or as a reference?
Google,
Google's
Google.
a engine.
You're
I mean a
wasting our time.
source.
Google. If
Do you
you
have a
just look
source?
it up,
So you don't believe in sources?
All
you're
right. Can we
wasting our
go to the
time.
next guest, Zay? If you're going to disrupt, come on now.
I asked a simple question for sources of
Our
claims.
time,
You
Zay.
can Google it in 5 seconds. I'm not going to sit here. If you don't believe sources,
You
then
just
fine. Then
didn't
DM me
provide
and
a
we'll talk about
source.
it. I'm not going to derail my whole life trying to teach you.
You just didn't provide. You just made baseless
Zay,
claims.
you're wasting our time. I'm not going down
You've
this.
made
You're
nothing but
being
baseless
obviously
claims this
stupid.
whole time. You said that the
I can
Orthodox
provide
Church
sources for
wasn't
every claim I
racist,
have.
and I'm looking at proof right now that
Mods,
the Orthodox Church did participate in the transatlantic slave trade,
No, we didn't.
emphasizing the Eastern Orthodox Church in particular. I'm looking at it
Do you
right
have for
now.
this claim?
So
yes, he's derailing us.
you've made
Let's cut it.
baseless claims.
Just what's
Let's
the
cut it.
source for the claim you have right now?
Next, yes.
Yeah, next guess. All right. Mojo wasn't finished.
So no, that's all. It doesn't matter to me if they take out those statues tomorrow. If you're right, I still love Jesus. I love what he did and who he was. It makes absolutely no difference what he looked like to me. Absolutely none. And I
Okay.
would say most people that follow him, it's not. It wouldn't make any difference. So but I came up to
So if
say,
it doesn't make a difference, stop making this Jesus. Tell
okay,
them that, right? Go to them. And I know you said you didn't grow up with this, but a lot of people do, and it should offend you that this version of Jesus that you don't even believe in, that you know for yourself is not true. This should offend you because they're using this as a tool against non-white people. So just it don't matter to you because it don't affect you. It's not used as a tool wielded against you. It didn't justify the enslavement of your ancestors who were taught because they were unchristlike, because Christ looked like this. So if you don't look like this, you don't look like Christ. Christianity means Christ-like. So if you don't look like Christ, then you are evil. You are innately demonic. So go to those that say that this is what Christ looked like and do something about it, because it might not matter to you, but it matters to those whose lives are affected by it.
right. You asked earlier about those clanistic people if they worship the same God, not the same one as me, honey.
Here go the picture of the Black Madonna and Child. There's many others. There's many, many others. There's empirical evidence of this. And look, they even painted white people down there. So it's not that the paint faded. People try to say the paint faded on their faces or something. Like, no, there are many. You can look up Black Madonna and Child in Google, and in half a second, you will see that they're the oldest paintings of Jesus and Mary were black.
Yep, that's 100% accurate. Like literally every single early representation pretty much shows that. Like exactly how this is, like the 1700s, even like 1600s, like they very deliberately painted and depicted, and that's Mary and that's Jesus, that depiction, um, as black. And it wasn't until you start seeing that very specific political agendas started being imposed that they started to lighten the skin.
Right. So if somebody does an action, right? Like I can understand passiveness, just, oh, things just went this way. Oh, Jesus, we left him the way that it was originally painted. And, it just doesn't matter that he's black. Like I could go with that. But when something is intentionally done, and then there are letters written about it in ways that there's a slave Bible. There's literally a Bible for slaves. Like there's a slave. Look up the slave Bible. It's
That's
literally used. It was literally used as a tool to oppress people. This image was literally used as a way to demonize non-white people. So then, if you know that, how do you say, "Oh, it just doesn't matter. Whatever. It don't no, it don't matter to you because you're not affected by that." And this is what I'm trying to say. At the end of the
Some
day,
of
if you know something was deliberately done, it is up to you to take action on that. Talk to your people. You know what I'm saying? If you really feel that way, I should see you at the front of a lot of churches because this who they worshiping.
to see
I'm
the
It
some of the
doesn't matter
slave
who you
ships,
personally worship. It
some
matters
of
like what
the
the system and what it represents and what everybody else is doing. And so if you try to tell them that this is the real Jesus and what it should be and that you've been deceived and worshiping a false idol and all these things, their resistance to worshiping a truly black Jesus would show you exactly where their intentions of supporting the weaponization of this and why it strokes their ego and all these things, and it makes them feel uncomfortable, and you're going to make them hate being American and hate their whiteness and all these things that the right's going to say. But like,
and also it's
why
important to
they're resisting
acknowledge
it
that
is because they
some of
recognize
the
the power of it.
it's also important to acknowledge that some of the slave ships were also literally called Jesus.
Oh yeah, the first slave ship was called Jesus.
Yep, the first slave ship, and actually come to find out, several others throughout the entirety of the European transatlantic slave trade were also called Jesus or referred to as Jesus.
Yeah, that was their name.
Hmm.
And yeah, there was definitely a white face on Jesus at that time.
So being
So
neutral or staying out of it or saying I wasn't raised looking at that, or I don't believe that, or that's disgusting, like none of that matters because the rest of the world's still going around, believing this. And so you have to actively be working against it. Not just saying, oh, well, not my problem.
Yeah, that's true. We do have to actively work against it because you can see when you see that picture, that's certainly not what Jesus looks like. I think everybody knows that at this point.
Nice.
okay.
They did.
All right, we
That's
got
how
more
we are.
guests, y'all. We got to move on.
All right.
Fro Simeon, what's going on?
Hey, my man, get
Peace.
my name right. Didn't call me Simon. Name's Simeon. Age 25. I'm black. Pronouns is they them. Is there something else I'm supposed to say? I always forget.
No, that's all. Go ahead,
All
talk
right,
to me.
bet. So to the first prompt, do black and white Christians worship the same God? No. I think that, you can ask, obviously, if you're gonna ask some black folk, and like one of the brothers who was up here pretty recently, I already forgot his name, but he was tap dancing a lot, saying that he wasn't a black person. But you're always gonna find folk like that who, probably pray towards the white God because they think that that's the only one. But no, people do not pray towards the same God. Are people born sinners? That I feel like that's up for interpretation. If you're religious, you're gonna say yes. If you're not religious, you're gonna be like you're just a human. If you're trying to understand both parts, you're gonna be like, well, like by design, we are inherently under like Christianity, sinners, quote unquote, because of the religion or whatever. But you're free to go do whatever you want. I'm mostly interested, honestly, in that second one because the other ones I feel like I already have an inherent answer to, but the second one I don't know the trick behind the question.
The trick behind the question.
How many sins are there, Simeon?
How many sins are there? There's 9?
Nope.
Okay, well, I wasn't raised. Well, I mean, I was raised Christian, but I ain't remember none of that. I'm totally down to get educated though. Like, throw me through it.
it's all made up. So whatever you want to be a sin, there's 7 deadly sins, and those are
Right.
arbitrarily, they can switch up and different 7, different translations, all that stuff. But it's basically infinite number of sins. Anything you could say is a sin if you attribute it to God and use that authority to say that God says it's a sin to do X, Y, and Z. God says it's a sin to work on Sunday. God says it's a sin to work on Saturday.
Okay, so I
Whatever.
did get the trick because that's how I felt like it's like if you're because by design of the system they can like you said they make the rules like if you govern the rules of I don't mean to just like try to plug myself or something but I do have a bar where I say human hands writing commands the book of God has been corrupted by treason people swear to God's word but change God's word for their own selfish reasons. That's Simeon, by the way. But that's that it's just that. It's literally just that. And then for the third question, are white people inherently racist? Yes. I'm gonna give people resources. I always love sharing it. Y'all should look up Gomez Day Zurara. I'm gonna type that in the chat right now. Just so y'all can have that. That's one of the dudes, or probably the main dude who started pushing for and talking about like white supremacy. If you start researching him or just read some articles about him, from actual black folk, you will get truths about that to understand and educate yourself about the system that is inherently white supremacy. If you are white, you inherit from it. You are inherently racist because of that. So, yep, that's those are my opinions on the tapes.
All right, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Got another A+ on the board. I think we 2 for 2. I think we 2 and 2. Very interesting live so far. Everybody keep tapping like. Let's get to 50K. Let's keep tapping like. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the gifts. Shout out to Cruz and Rose, Ashley Buenos Dias, and DFW Swing Out. Appreciate you for the gifts. Shout out to my sister D, Chanel. Appreciate y'all. Don't forget you can donate as well. $ Bring Down Babylon. That's the nonprofit where we're building resources for our community. We're doing more than just talking, y'all. I might be the only live on TikTok that does more than just talk. We have built a nonprofit organization that is technology focused and building educational resources for Black children, Black adults, anybody that wants to learn more about the Afrocentric perspective of our history. We're creating Sankofapedia, a Afrocentric encyclopedia online that will show connections between people, historical events, and more. Check out b1initiative.org, my website. The link is in my bio if you want to learn more about our project and learn more about our mission. Appreciate you all. Oh yeah, I updated the website, Populous. If you want to check that out too, we've been working. But yeah, check that out. Bear Maple, give us your age, race, and pronouns.
I'm 29 and I'm African or Black and not the pause and I'm he him. But for the last
Man, nah, you.
they are racist. They are racist though, and they have to unlearn that. They have to unlearn they have to unlearn the racism that they've been taught. 'Cause remember me as a kid when I grew up, I saw like white people, white monuments, white statues, white money, white holidays, and they're being taught to like
Bear
they're
Maple.
taught to own. They're taught to like.
Yeah, you pissed somebody off. Shout out to Gene Day. Hey,
Can't even
man.
say no.
You gotta send a galaxy to come back, Bear Maple. You gotta send a galaxy to come back. That's how that works. You gotta send a galaxy, and then we'll let you back up. Brother T didn't even get to say nothing. Yo, that's why you can't be talking reckless in other people's lives, man. Because you come up here, you will be held accountable. I love my conscious corner at TikTok. All right, Brother Timothy Black Swan. I'm gonna get to y'all. We got a new person up here, Doug. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
Good afternoon, brother legend and guest. I'm Doug from Florida, age 72, white, and I'm not into this or understand the pronoun things. I'm a guy.
Okay.
Okay. So looking at your banner, very interesting, and I've really thought about it. I've read the Quran I've read the Hebrew Bible, Buddhism, and Taoism, and I don't know if I can even answer those questions. I find that those writings have very similar tenets. I happen to follow Jesus, okay? But I've dated women in those four areas and felt very comfortable in their places of worship, respect all of them, learn from all of them. So I kind of get the best out of all of them and kind of just practice being a good human being. But I can't answer those questions. I'm not sure. So I couldn't give you a definitive answer.
Okay. So you came up here to tell us you don't know?
Yeah, and I'm trying to learn from you all too.
Mm. Okay.
That's why I've listened most of the time. So if anybody,
Are you saying that you want us to labor for you? Is that what you're saying?
no, I'm listening to try to learn perhaps the answer to those questions because I can't definitively 100% answer those questions.
Okay.
Where are you
Well,
from?
you have been listening, so I hope you've gathered some information.
Where are you
I
from,
have.
Doug?
I'm from South Florida, originally New York, then New Jersey, now Florida full time.
Okay.
Gene ain't having it.
How old were you in 1965?
Oh, let's see. I was born in
Yep,
51, so 14.
Gene said out of
14.
here.
Okay. Are you a racist?
Good God, I don't think so. No, I don't feel any of that.
He's out. Shout out to Gene Day. They ain't never gonna admit that. 1965.
Get a gold star if they do.
I have an interview from 1965 where a sister was asked, "What does the Southern way of life mean?" The Southern way of life was something that conservatives were trying to preserve the same way they're trying to now by calling it "Make America Great Again." So they're saying "Make America Great Again," the same way they used to say "Preserve the Southern way of life." And it's just funny because, he's around the age of Donald Trump, someone that was here, I guess, when he thought America was great. And back in 1965, in that interview I'm talking about, since it's Black History Month, in that interview, the elder, black woman, talks, and she says that the Southern way of life is saying yes, sir, yes, ma'am, no, sir, no, ma'am, to anyone that is white, even if they're a teenager or a child. So, all the black people in here, brothers and sisters, can you imagine less than 60 years ago? You understand? This is 25. I was born in 90. This is 25 years before I was born. Can you imagine saying yes, ma'am, to a little white girl? Can you imagine saying yes, sir, to a little boy come up to your kneecap, walking by, at the threat of being turned into a tree ornament if you didn't do that? This was a societal norm 59 years ago. So I just want to remind all of us that because this is an election year, it's Black History Month, do not feel like these people's hearts have changed. Do not. He grew up in that world. The person that was just up here, he said he was 14. He's been socialized by that age. So what I'm saying is, do not think that we are so far removed from those societal norms that these people still don't think that way and that we can't go back to that. I'm not saying that means you should vote for anybody. We can talk about voting another time. But what I'm saying is they telling us what they want. All right, I'm gonna go to the next guest.
He said, God, no, I don't think I'm racist. Like, let's start from the standpoint that 99% of Americans are racist. Stop being afraid to say it. Like, yeah, you
Americans, by the way,
probably
can
got
I
a little
have a
racism in you. It's
question?
okay.
Hold on,
When you
hold on, Uber. Hold on,
okay,
we go in order.
sorry.
I'll let you speak.
Okay.
Give us a moment.
Okay, sorry, my brother. Go ahead.
Okay. So the next guest, Nibba Grab. Give us your age, your race, and your pronouns for the live, please.
Can y'all hear me good?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. So shit, you know me, age 26, race black, African American, pronouns he, him.
All right, talk to us.
All right. First of all of this God bullshit, I'm just gonna
Please don't
completely.
curse.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna come straight up. All of this
All right.
God stuff, like, it's helpful to maintain like a society for people who just really don't understand. But for people who know better, it's bullcrap. Let's stop trying to live by it. Let's just be better people.
Mm-hmm.
It's fake. It's made up. You know what I mean? We could be any of these things. We could be anything we want. Like, people took this stories of Jesus and all that stuff literally. Like, this, that's what people said about the guy. Imagine like talking like you ever heard Temptations? Like, you could turn the gray sky blue. Like, come on, like, you know, some stuff like that. That's what that is. People took it literally. Imagine listening to the Temptations and taking that literally.
Mm-hmm. The Temptations. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
John Henry Clark said, "I question the intelligence of anyone that looks at the Bible as a historical book." So, I hear you. Did he get dropped? Oh, 5 pause. Okay. Shout out to the moderators. I was looking at my wife. She put donuts in the fridge. Why would someone do that? Why would someone, like, I don't understand. I don't know why. But okay. It's cold. It's nice. I'm not mad. Let's go to the next guest. Uba Hassan. Could we have your age, your race, and your pronouns, please?
Uh, Pronouns. Obviously, I'm a female and I'm a woman and I'm a black woman.
So you're a female and a woman?
Both.
Yo, I can't with y'all, man. Shout out to Gene Day.
Dang, Gene, let's talk to somebody.
That's funny because she said, like, she kind of dismissed the pronouns question, but then is going to give us her gender and her sex. You may as well just give her pronouns. But anyway, Aaron, Pierre, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Name, what's age? 49, race, indigenous, pronouns he, him.
All right, talk to us.
It's Christians. Do black and white Christians worship the same God? Ooh. I think no. Are people born sinners? No. Are white people inherently racist? Yes. And I found out that I was talking to blacks one a few minutes ago, and I found out that actually white passing, and so I guess I don't like to hear that, but you know, it's a lot of work for me to do, and and having Black Lives Matter in my profile's problematic. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, because
What you do with Black Swan?
Listen, we were on a panel.
panel.
We were on a panel with him, and I've noticed this happening every time there is. This is, I would say, definitely during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement. A lot of YT people had put BLM in their bios, and I've spoken to and had conversations with people that have that in their bios, and they can't give you one statistic. They can't name a struggle. They can't give you a name outside of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And maybe Malcolm X.
MLK died for their sins.
and and it's a, I think it's a, you know, it's just such a disingenuous thing to play with people's humanity in that way. It is so incredibly disingenuous for you to put something like that in your bio when you don't even know what the issues are. And if you were truly doing the work of becoming an anti-racist, right? If you were truly going down that path, you wouldn't have that in your bio, because it wouldn't be something that you would feel the need to perform, right? You would be educating your community, um, you know, about the things that you've learned, and working to you know, dismantle these systems that have been in place for so long. And I think that it's for Black people that are not as educated, it could put them in harm's way, because there's always this, you know, there's always a few people in our community who get excited about somebody that finally decides to see the humanity in us, right? Like they get excited about it. And so when they see things like that, I think they feel as though, you know, wow, that we're making progress. And it's unfortunate because it could put them in the path of harm. It could put them in the path of harm. So I think it's a really disingenuous move. You don't have to, like, you shouldn't be performative about seeing the humanity in other people. I just think it's disrespectful to, you know, put it out there as if you care, when you don't even know what it is that you're supposed to be caring about.
Yeah. Well, do you have a response for that, Aaron?
Uh,
Protect your honor. Defend your honor.
well, yeah, I'm learning stuff, and like, isn't it better to have Black Lives Matter than All Lives Matter? You know, so I'm not
I mean, what
saying.
does that have to do with what she said have to do with all lives matter?
So
Oh,
he wants to make
so
sure people know he's a good person, and so
no,
he's.
no. That's not what I'm.
Are you
What I'm
racist,
saying.
Aaron?
Well, I'm in a white society, so yeah, I'm racist because I'm white. In my land, I'm not, because, you know, in America, yes, because in America, if I come to America, I'm white, right? I'm white. So, racist. And, you know, I just learnt that from Black Swan, so thanks for teaching me that. It's not a very nice thing to learn about myself, and, you know, it takes time to, you know, sit with that uncomfortable realization. Ooh.
But also, you don't want to center yourself as far as your discomfort. Like at some point, you want to make sure that you understand that other people are more uncomfortable with what's going on with racism. And as much as you're feeling, it does get worse for other people. So working to learn it and tell it to your other people in your circle and your friends that are going to hear it from you instead of us.
Can I add to that? Stop going into Black spaces, Aaron, and asking Black people to labor for you. We have labored for y'all long enough.
What labor am I asking of you, though?
It's disingenuous. So stop coming into Black spaces and asking us to give you the information. It's your job to get that information, and don't come into Black spaces letting them know anymore that you were on this path. Because you know, that's your community's problem.
Go figure it out.
I'd like you to show your appreciation financially for the education. You can go ahead and gift the host, gift the panel, and that shows that you're working against your racism and want to financially contribute and compensate for teaching you again.
All right. All right. Are we finished? Are we done? Anything else you want to say?
Me? No, I've just got to sit with my thing and work it out.
Yep. That's a good idea.
Panel and gift the host.
All right. Adios.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Okay. Wow. That was interesting. Black Swan be bullying them. Shit, Black Swan ain't playing. Shout out to my sister, man. We be laboring on this app. I'll be seeing it. You go and listen. She ain't gonna let you be comfortable. But
He's like
admitting,
a fish that wants us to clap that he's swimming.
yeah, pretty much. And acknowledging racism is the first step. But at a big age, once you're in the double digits, your first step ain't nothing to clap at. But it is the first step, and that's really as far as most of them go. If they go, most of them don't get there, but if they do go in that direction at all, getting to that first step is so hard because they've been told their whole lives that they're innocent till proven guilty. They've been told their whole life that whiteness meant without blemish, that they were naturally perfect, that they're naturally good and loving people. So they've been told that. That's what whiteness means. So it's hard for them to see themselves as the bad guy when it comes to oppression. And that is why it's hard for them to admit that they're racist. That's why you will see me ask them straight up, are you a racist? Because if you are working to be anti-racist, the first thing you'll do is acknowledge that, and then hopefully you can tell us some actionable things, some tangibles, something you've done. But even that is just having the humanity to solve a great crisis in your own community. So I'll go to the next guest. Manifest 222. Give us your age, race, and pronouns, please.
My age is 58, black. What do you mean by pronouns? At 58, black. My name is Calvin.
All right.
Instead of calling Calvin all the time, Calvin said, Calvin did, Calvin. What other pronoun, instead of saying your proper noun, what other pronoun can we use in place of that? Should we call it it? It said this? Should we say she said this? Should we say he said this? Which would you prefer to us be respectful to you?
That's he said this. He
Okay,
said.
thank you. So he, him would be your pronouns, your chosen pronouns that you want us to respect you by.
Oh, okay. This is my first time in even seeing Brother Legend, and congratulate you on your platform. It's very unique, and I did hear you say you do more in building the community and teaching the kids and our community, in structuring going forward, so we know where we come from and taking an in-depth in history. But
absolutely.
Yeah, first, before I answer the three questions, also I was very impressed with Aaron when he admitted to be racist, but also Doug admitted not being racist. But at the same time, both of them were pretty within themselves, brutally honest. But especially Aaron, I've never really hear a white man admit he's racist. I found that shocking almost. But at the same time, it resonates with me that, like what you said, brother Legend, that they grew up thinking, that they're entitled, white is right. Plus, they had the evidence. They had better homes than us. They had better schooling than us, education, and were treated better in public. Like, I like what you said. It was shocking to hear that we had to address a grown man back in 1950 had to address, a little girl as yes, ma'am. A little 8-year-old white girl.
Yep.
Would you say you were impressed with Aaron admitting he was racist?
Yes.
Why are you impressed with the bare minimum?
because I've never ever heard someone genuinely admit that they were racist.
But it is the bare minimum, and just
It
like
is the
Black
bare
Swan said,
minimum.
but
Yes,
wait,
and that's
wait a
the
second, wait a second.
but for where I'm from, I live in Bermuda. It's a pretty wealthy country, so we could see it's not so in your face racism, but if you look at the cars the white man drives and the houses, the white neighborhoods, you can see the difference. And then you can see that in America as well.
Mm-hmm.
But also I want to also one, if I may touch back, there were also when someone said something about Black Lives Matter, there were also a lot of white people marching alongside and got persecuted with Martin Luther King. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want us to leave that out, but at the same
We'll make
time,
sure they get their points.
but at the same time, there's the majority, I think, of the white community was like, we got ours, you know. And how are you gonna help the Black people? Well, we're gonna kick you out of the family. You know, that's the type of things that happen to them. And a lot of white people got in trouble for helping the Black people too. But at the same time, the majority of them, like you said, that was the minority though. So, but the majority of
Big minority.
a
A lot.
big one, big
Very, very.
a big minority,
Yeah.
like 1,000,000 to 1, you know.
But I'm saying that it sounds like a knee-jerk reaction to praise them for doing the bare minimum or showing you a little bit of acknowledgement or
Well,
humanity.
yeah, I
And I want
agree,
to say
but
be
I
careful
was
with that.
just
That's
shocked
all.
because this is the first time, and I'm 58 years old. This is the
Oh,
first
okay.
time I've ever heard a white person really genuinely admit
Let me
that
ask you
yes,
this though.
I was brought up into this. I was born into this white culture.
Let me ask you this. Like Black Swan said, why isn't he going to white lives and
Exactly.
indigenous Maori lives and talking to them about this? Why does he keep perpetually going to Black lives in order to get praise from people?
Yeah, exactly. And no one's doing that. Only I
He's
forget
not
her
learning
name.
anything more.
There's one white lady that's on YouTube and everything. I don't know her name right now, but I think we all have seen her. She's the only person standing up against racism. And
Who?
she
Jane Elliott?
Jean Elliott. Yeah, that's the person. Do you agree?
Yeah.
See, manifest. The thing is that you don't congratulate somebody for walking a straight line.
Right. Okay.
Like you don't congratulate somebody for simply doing something that they're supposed to do. Like you don't congratulate somebody for being successful at breathing today. Like you
Exactly.
don't, that's not what you do. Like it's so even though it may seem like a shock, and I get it because in the vast majority of instances you're not seeing any accountability. I get it, but at the same time, they're supposed to be doing that. That is exactly what it's supposed.
Like, think of this. If I walked into your house, right, and I said, "Hey, man, I gotta go to the bathroom. Where's your bathroom at?" You said, "It's in the back. Go back. Go in the back and make a left." I go into your bedroom and take a number 2 on your bed. Then I wipe it up. Do you turn to me and say, "Wow, man, good job. Wow, man,
You
thank
wiped
you
it
so
up.
much." You know what I'm saying?
Thanks for
Cleaning up my
wiping it
own
up.
mess.
Yeah. Okay.
You
I
see what
get
I'm
it.
saying? And when it comes to Martin Luther King and them being out there with him, in my opinion, that's a damn shame. It should have been all of them out there. It should have been
Exactly.
nothing. Martin Luther King should have been in that. That's where I was when the Black Lives Matter protest. Me and my wife, we was in Hollywood during COVID with Black Lives Matter protests right outside our street. People burning stuff, people acting all wild. Some white man was walking in the middle of the street yelling the N-word, and it was wild. Like it was
Oh wow.
look up Hollywood during the George Floyd protests. It was
I'll do
nuts.
that.
And
Manifest. Oh, sorry.
and I was in the house with my feet up. I ain't going out there. I don't got nothing to do out there. There's nothing for me out there. I'm not gonna sit and I'm not gonna go out and try to fix a problem that I have no control over. You understand? There are men outside with assault pew-pews, big ones, right? Military gear, and they're looking for people that look like me because they're going to look at me and think I'm a protester, all this other stuff. But it wasn't even just that. It's just that this is y'all's fight. This got nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with y'all. Because I knew after those protests are done, racism, white supremacy, as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing calls it, is going to survive. It is going to continue. We can speak up for ourselves when we need protection. When we need protection, we can speak up for ourselves. But when it comes to the system of racism, we don't have any control over that. That is them cleaning up their own mess. It should be all black people inside and them out there trying to fix up their mess.
Yeah.
Manifest.
I think
you
a lot of
sorry.
people. No, it's okay. I think a lot of people, because we're constantly, not we, but not me at least, but because people are constantly looking for or seeking like liberation, right? They don't want to be oppressed anymore. So when you're given a breadcrumb, you treat it as if you've been given a full meal. But I need people to start looking at it from a very realistic perspective. This country has shown us how they feel about us over and over and over again. And I think sometimes people operate or move or think with this level of hope. And it's unfortunate, but I need everybody to understand that this country has shown us what they are, who they are, and what they're about over and over again. We've never gotten a break from this, ever.
Yeah.
Manifest, would you praise Dr. Jane Elliott, you mentioned, the white lady, more than you would praise the black scholars and theologians and social workers and activists that were saying it centuries before Dr. Jane Elliott? Would you praise them more, the black
I
ones, or
don't
would
feel
you
like he
praise
was
Dr. Jane
praising. I
Elliott?
I
feel
would
like
praise the
he might have
black
used the wrong word.
scholars more than Jane Elliott, because, like you said, Jane Elliott is the bare minimum, and it's not even the bare minimum. She's just one person,
And she don't even believe in reparations. But
and
I see what you're saying.
It's been
Yeah,
said before, but she gets a lot of credit because she's white, and so it's a
yeah,
novelty, and so we praise her more as a society or white
I
media or whatever
I
wants you to.
I look back at history. Like, they used to feed black babies to the crocodiles, and back in slavery days, they used to castrate, cut our foot off, stuff like that. It's no excuse and no forgiveness for some of the stuff that was done to our community, as a black community. And I don't, I've done a little history on it, and it's very heartbreaking every time I hear this new stuff, and raping our women and
Oh,
stuff.
please be careful. You can't say the R word.
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
want to be
Yeah.
traumatizing either with this whole subject matter of what they've done and relitigating all their offenses.
Okay. So, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
we know what they did.
But manifest
well,
real
that's
quick.
that's
It's
basically what I
important to
wanted
be.
to say, and I'm glad I have a new mindset now that I forget the gentleman that said, why am I even congratulating them? And now I take your side. I shouldn't have. I know better now that they don't deserve any type of recognition.
Yeah, I mean it's very disgusting, man. I've been doing some research, Black History Month, of course. What we do at b1initiative.org involves Black history every day. But just because it's Black History Month, I've been doing like some extra like intentional work and uncovering some things. And when you look back at the history that was done, the mistreatment of our ancestors, it's nauseating. Like like it's dizzying how inhumane they treated them. And as much as some of them do the bare minimum, it's just when you really look into because you need to like sometimes it helps to like revisit the information, you know what I'm saying? Because you can get kind of numb to it. We hear it all the time. So even I grow numb to it. Then you look up what happened in the Congo, You look up what happened on the plantations in Haiti and Jamaica, and you look up, even here in the deep South, it's like it makes like I can never forgive these people. To be honest, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
I feel like I never forgive them. But at the same time, I understand that this is something out of my control. So whether I
Well,
forgive
I've
them or not, this is
experienced,
something that they got to figure out. You know.
like I said, I was born in 1965. So I remember being 10 years old. And a bunch of my friends were riding our pedal bikes, racing down a little hill in the neighborhood.
Mm.
And a gentleman of another that didn't look like us, and we were all riding our pedal bikes, racing like 5 guys. He came right out in the middle of the race and threw a big cooler, like a water, like a cooler with ice, a ice cooler, and and everybody fell off their bikes, and he thought nothing of it, a bunch of
Wow.
10-year-old kids,
That's terrible.
That is wild. Wow.
No, so there was a police officer. There was a guy in New York, I believe, that was riding on a scooter or something, and he was being chased for something. And a police officer thought it'd be cool to throw a cooler at his head, and he unalived
Yeah, a
him.
cooler. It's so
Wow.
funny
But
you said
yeah,
cooler. They
throwing
like
at
coolers.
10-year-olds or throwing it at the person fleeing because he might have stole something or something like that.
Yeah.
Either way, like none of it's right and stuff, and it's appalling for whether it's an adult or a 10-year-old child and stuff. But yeah, no, this one faced charges, I believed.
Yeah,
But
but nothing
just
happened to
throwing
this. This
chucking a
guy
cooler
just
at
went
somebody.
back in his house, and that was it.
Well, thank you for coming up, Manifest.
I
Appreciate you.
appreciate and keep doing what you're doing, and I'll try to stay in touch and support your community building. I'm like I said, you may be the only live that's actually doing more than just talking. You're putting your money where your mouth is, so to speak.
Yep, that's what we're doing.
Follow me too, Manifest.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yes, sir.
I just
Nice
first
meeting you.
time, never heard of this.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. One love.
Happy Black History Month.
Happy
One
Black
love.
History Month. Absolutely.
Happy Black History Month.
Amanla.
Colonizers like tourism in the Caribbean and Jamaica. Somebody mentioned in the comments about Jamaica too. But they like the tourism because they get back to that yes ma'am and politeness and no back talk and everybody's smiling. It's like the good old days in America. And so it's like paradise to them. All the servitude.
It's wild how
Not
we're
to
coming out
disrespect,
of
but that's how they view
colonization. We fought to come out of colonization, and in almost every majority black country, tourism is the #1 industry. Don't y'all find that a little suspicious? That tourism, inviting Europeans into black countries, is the #1 industry in a majority of black countries. We fought to fight the colonizers off, right? And then we turned around and invite them right back in. But we'll talk about that another time. I'll take y'all down the rabbit hole.
Speaking of dollars, gift the panel, gift the host.
Yes, absolutely. Sending money to $Bring Down Babylon is tax deductible. We are a nonprofit. You can check out our mission. The link is in my bio, b1initiative.org. We've been doing some great work, creating an online encyclopedia for young brothers and sisters to learn more about where we come from, who we are as a people. Knowledge of self is the cure for the black community. Knowledge of self, that's all we need. All we need to do is know who we are. Then we're going to know what we need to do. Then we're going to know, we're going to be able to see through all the illusions. That's literally all that takes in, especially the West, the brothers and sisters who've been most disconnected from our heritage. So we're attempting to find digital solutions to that end with Sankofapedia to teach brothers and sisters who we are from an Afrocentric perspective.
That's
That
right.
means when we write about
Real culture.
when we write about United States presidents, when we write about Francis Scott Key, the man that wrote the Star Spangled Banner, we're going to tell you that he owned slaves. Everyone that owns slaves will have a badge on their page, like a Wikipedia profile. There will be a badge there to tell you that they participated in the transatlantic slave trade. things like this will be an Afrocentric perspective on what went on throughout history. You've never seen African history assembled this way. So, we got a lot more coming. It's going to be, the most Afrocentric premier source of history and knowledge that you'll ever find. Martin, could you give us your age, race, and pronouns, please?
Give my age, but Latino, so I'm Hispanic, but I'm Mexican, Spaniard, and some other Latinos, but I'm
You
not too.
sound muffled, Martin. Could you
I'm
speak a
sorry. Go
little
ahead.
louder?
Yeah, I'm the vote for him.
You sound muffled. Sound like
Is this
you're
better?
1940. Say it again.
Is this any better?
Is that better
No.
to y'all? He really low to me.
I can go charge my headset. Yeah.
Is it better to y'all? No, not really.
I'll
You're
charge.
really low. I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, been an
But
interesting live. Yeah, what's
Latino
up?
and Spaniard isn't a race. So, like, when you in whatever country, are you one of the dark skinned, whatever that country is, Spain or wherever, or are you one of the light skinned ones? Like,
He said he's Latino or Spaniard?
yeah.
Hey, Latino's not a race.
No.
Hey, Latino is it? Well,
No.
Which country do
race.
your family hail from?
Dude, I'm Latino. That's all I have to say. The thing is, like, the only one who
Okay,
started the
but
race
there's
is the
light
white
skinned
man.
people from that country and there's dark skinned people from that country, and they are
So
treated
what?
differently.
What are you trying to vilify me for being Latino?
No,
Martin,
I've been to,
The nationality of my parents is
and the
Spaniard
problem
and
is
Mexican.
that
All right.
based off of recent research, the genetic proportions of people that live in those regions are a combination of European ancestry, indigenous ancestry, as well as African
I know who I
ancestry.
am, motherfucker. What are
Technically
you talking about?
speaking, so technically
You have to tell me
speaking,
who I am.
and of course you
I
don't
know
want to
who I was
listen. So
born.
technically speaking, when
What
it
are we
comes
talking?
down to it, you have to pay attention to the actual research associated with your identity in order to be able to adequately claim what identity that you're trying to associate with. It has nothing to do with I know where I was born. It has nothing to do with I know who I am. No, at the end of the day, you have to research this information in
I
order to be
have
able
to
to
do
adequately
shit.
tell us even who. Okay, well, see, obviously
All right,
he's
Martin,
very
you just
interested
a
in not
disrespectful.
learning anything. So
being quick to be disrespectful to a darker skinned brother tells me everything I need to know about where
Right.
you fall in the spectrum.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Y'all, I'm about to go. I got work to do. My bad. That wasn't the one. Steph, and somebody else sent. Wait, hold on. Who was Steph, and Drika. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for the Panther Paws. I got work to do for the community. I got work to do for black people. I got work to do for black brothers. I got work to do for black queens. Mad love for y'all, all my sisters. We want to talk about God. The God I worship is the black woman. Thank you for creating all of mankind. Peace and power to the black woman that gave birth to us all. You know what I'm saying? The great ancestors. You know what I'm saying? The Christian God is actually derivative of Mut, the black woman that was first known to be the creator of all things, the benevolent creator of all things. So the Christian God came later. When they say God is the creator of all things and God created the heavens and the earth, what they really mean is we stole that shit from black people that worshipped black women. So that's where they got that idea from. And so that being the case, we do not worship the same God. You know what I'm saying? We do not worship the same God. So, and peace to, the black brothers as well, fathers of the world. You know what I'm saying? Look at these people and you see our great grandchildren. That's how you should treat them, like children. Don't get offended by them. They're gonna say ignorant stuff. Don't let it get to you. They're like children. They don't know any better. And so I'm gonna go. One love. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm back on my schedule, but I gotta go code. Oh yeah, and everybody in B1 Initiative, y'all need to give me your GitHub profile. GitHub profile. Everybody needs to get a GitHub. Timothy, you need a GitHub. Black Swan really don't be in the she be coming to the meetings though, so that's why I got love for her anyway. But Molly, whoever's participating in building Sankopapedia, everyone needs to get a GIT hub, HUB, GitHub. Y'all need to set that up and send me your username. We're about to enter phase 2 of the alpha version of Sankopapedia, and we're about to actually go live and depend less on white-owned programs in order to create our GitHub, our website. So right now we're using a program that we're not going to need so much. It's going to be a safer way for us to have this information. So we're getting phase 2. So you know what I'm saying? We're actually making progress, y'all. So y'all don't nobody try to Dr. Umar me with this. I'm gonna show y'all progress every week. I'm not gonna let up. Like, I'm doing this. Like, we are gonna have Sankopapedia. I'm not playing. I'm tired of having to go to different sources just to find what the ancestors believed on different things. It's ridiculous. There should be one source for us to go and learn about Dr. Khalid and John Henry Clark and everybody. So get your GitHub, github.com, GITHUB, and send me your username if you want to contribute to Sankopapedia. Send it in the Discord. I appreciate y'all again. One love. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.